Do you recall those tiny quintuplets who captured the headlines 13 years ago? 5 little miracles who defied all odds. You won't believe how much they've grown. Their incredible journey from delicate newborns to remarkable teenagers will leave you in awe. Varvara Artankin's life changed forever when she found out she was pregnant with not one, but 5 babies at just 26 weeks. She had no idea how much her life was about to change. Months earlier, during a routine ultrasound, the technician was shocked to see 5 heartbeats on the screen. It was an incredible moment that surprised everyone. Varvara and her husband, Dmitry, felt both joy and fear. Carrying 5 babies at once is very difficult. The doctor suggested she could choose to keep only 3 to make the pregnancy safer, but after thinking and praying about it, they decided to keep all 5. The next few months were busy with doctor visits and getting ready for their growing family. Varvara's body changed a lot as she carried 5 babies, and it was tough on her small frame. Still, she was determined to carry her quintuplets for as long as she could. On a Tuesday morning, a sharp, sudden pain shot through Varvara's body, causing her to freeze in panic. Her hand instinctively flew to her swollen belly as the realization dawned. Something was wrong. It was far too early for the babies to arrive, yet her body was clearly starting to labor. In that scary moment, Varvara knew she had to move quickly to save her unborn quintuplets. "Dmitry," she called out, trying to keep her voice steady. "I think it's time." Dmitry Artankin rushed into the room, his face turning pale when he saw his wife's worried expression. They quickly sprang into action, hearts racing. Varvara grabbed the pre-packed hospital bag while Dmitry collected last-minute items. The weight of 5 lives and countless unknowns pressed heavily on their minds. In a flash, they were in the car, racing toward the hospital. On their way, Varvara whispered prayers, begging for her babies to be okay. Dmitry's knuckles were white on the steering wheel, his eyes darting between the road and his wife. As soon as they arrived, doctors and nurses surrounded Varvara. The room was a blur of activity, with machines beeping and people shouting instructions. Dmitry held his wife's hand tightly, feeling helpless as he watched the medical team work amidst the chaos. The medical team quickly determined that a natural delivery would be too risky for both Varvara and her 5 precious babies. Without hesitation, the decision was made to perform an emergency caesarean section. They informed Dmitry about their decision, and he agreed with them. In a flurry of activity, Varvara was rushed to the operating room. Bright lights lit up the sterile space as doctors and nurses moved with practiced precision. Dmitry, dressed in scrubs, stood by his wife's side, offering words of encouragement. The surgical team carefully worked through Varvara's abdomen and uterus. Time seemed to stand still as everyone waited for the first glimpse of new life. Suddenly, a tiny cry pierced the air. "Baby A is out," announced the surgeon. In quick succession, 4 more cries followed as each baby was gently delivered. The NICU team quickly took each newborn for immediate care. As the last baby was delivered, tears of joy and relief streamed down Dmitry's face. The surgical team swiftly closed the incision to ensure Varvara's recovery. In the recovery room, exhausted but happy, Varvara and Dmitry listened as the medical staff explained the condition of her quintuplets. Though tiny and fragile, all 5 babies were fighting hard. Each newborn was incredibly small, barely larger than a hand, with delicate features showing their premature arrival. Dmitry stood by his wife's bedside, holding her hand tightly as he watched their daughters being transferred into special incubators. The rhythmic beeping of machines keeping his babies alive filled the air. For weeks, the hospital became their second home. Varvara and Dmitry spent every moment they could by the incubators, whispering to their girls, singing lullabies, and praying for them to grow stronger. Slowly but surely, the babies started to gain weight and breathe on their own. It wasn't easy. There were scary moments when alarms would go off and doctors would rush in. But through it all, the Artankin quintuplets showed they were fighters. They grew stronger every day, and everyone was amazed by their progress. News of the quintuplets spread quickly. People all over Russia and even in other countries were fascinated by their story. When the day finally came for the family to go home, they were surprised to find a crowd of well-wishers waiting for them. The city had a special gift for the Artankins, a big 4-room apartment. It was perfect for their growing family. As they settled into their new home, Varvara and Dmitry knew their adventure was just beginning. Caring for 5 babies at once was something they had never experienced before, and their days turned into a carefully planned routine of feedings, diaper changes, and rare moments of rest. They quickly learned that teamwork was essential for their survival. Feeding time was incredibly challenging with 5 hungry mouths to feed. Every few hours, Varvara and Dmitry developed a system. They lined up all 5 babies on a specially designed nursing pillow. Varvara would breastfeed 2 at a time while Dmitry bottle-fed the others. This process could take several minutes, only for them to start again shortly after. Sleep became a luxury they could rarely afford. The babies' schedules rarely matched, meaning a child was almost always awake and needing attention. Varvara and Dmitry took turns napping in short bursts, often sleeping in shifts to ensure someone was always ready to care for the babies. Despite the exhaustion, both of them cherished the quiet moments when all 5 girls were peacefully asleep. As the girls grew older, things became more challenging. Getting 5 toddlers ready for the day was chaotic. Before they knew it, it was time for the quintuplets' first day of school. Varvara and Dmitry stood at the school gate, holding hands and watching their 5 little girls walk in together. It was a proud moment, but also a bit scary. How would the other kids treat them? Would they make friends? They didn't need to worry. The Eroman sisters quickly became the stars of their class. Their unique bond fascinated their classmates, and the girls soon had many friends. Of course, there were some tricky moments. One particularly challenging incident occurred when 3 of the sisters were placed in the same class while the other 2 were assigned to a different one. This separation caused anxiety and tears on the first day, as the girls were used to always being together. The parents and teachers had to work closely to help the quintuplets adjust to spending time apart during school hours. It took several weeks, but eventually the girls adapted, learning to balance their individual experiences with their special bond as quintuplets. As the years went by, the girls' personalities started to shine. Each of the quintuplets developed her own unique interests and traits. One became a natural leader, always looking out for her sisters. Another discovered a love for drawing and painting. One sister was the comedian of the family, always making everyone laugh. Another was the quiet one, happiest with her nose in a book. And one of the girls had the voice of an angel, captivating everyone when she sang. When the quintuplets turned 7, Varvara and Dmitry decided it was time for a special trip. They were going back to visit the hospital where the girls were born. It was a big adventure for the family. Walking into the hospital was like stepping back in time. Some of the same doctors and nurses who had cared for the girls as babies were there to greet them. There were hugs and happy tears as the medical team saw how much the quintuplets had grown. "We never forgot you," one nurse said, smiling at the girls. "You are our little miracles." The trip was eye-opening for the quintuplets. For the first time, they really understood how special their story was. They saw pictures of themselves as tiny babies hooked up to machines, and it made them appreciate even more how far they had come. Back home, life went on. The girls threw themselves into school and their hobbies with enthusiasm. Every Sunday, you'd find the whole family at church. The girls loved singing in the choir, their voices blending beautifully together. A big change came when Dmitry, the girls' dad, became a priest. It was something he had wanted to do for a long time. The quintuplets were so proud to see their father standing at the front of the church, leading the services. As the girls got older, they started to face new challenges. Sometimes people would stare at them when they went out together. Other kids at school would ask nosy questions or make mean comments. It was sometimes challenging being different. But the Artankin sisters had a secret weapon. When one of them was feeling down, the others were always there to cheer her up. They stood up for each other no matter what. Their bond was unbreakable. Varvara and Dmitry worked hard to keep their family strong. They had special family nights where they would play games or watch movies together. Every summer, they went on vacation, exploring new places and making memories. As the Artankin quintuplets turned 13, they grew into amazing young women. They weren't little girls anymore, but teenagers with dreams and plans for the future. They'd all look just as beautiful as they did when they were born, but now their personalities were the main focus of people's conversations about them. Each of the girls has her own dreams. One wants to be a doctor, another aspires to be an artist, one dreams of becoming a comedian, another aims to be a writer, and one wishes to be a singer. Being a teenager isn't always easy. They argue like all sisters and are starting to notice boys, which makes their parents a bit nervous. They also deal with typical teenage issues like homework and figuring out who they are. But through it all, the Artankin quintuplets support each other, filled with laughter, love, and a little chaos. Varvara and Dmitry are proud of their daughters. Their journey from fragile babies to strong teenagers shows that miracles happen. The future is uncertain. Will they pursue their dreams or go in different directions? One thing is clear, they'll always be there for each other. What would you do if you were told you were expecting 5 babies at once? How do you think people can help parents of multiple children? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.